treat every forecast you hear from IMF down to the Dalal Street broker with the greatest amount of disrespect. Please, nobody, look at the IMF GDP forecast for the world. How many times it is revised? Every fourth month they cut it or they raise it. You're saying IMF should have the best view of the global GDP. Nobody knows a damn.
It's a bit like the Met department.
Absolutely. It's probably worse than that. Okay. So I pay no attention to all these forecasts. I mean, nobody has any forecasting.
So what's your sense?
My sense is, and I don't look 2 years down the road because many things can change in the world. I'm happy to look 6 months down the road. I don't think anything changes then. If anything changes, I think you will get enough whiff of that reasonably in advance. I've never seen that big earnings cycle was, uptrend was ahead of us and we all missed it. I don't think that's going to happen.
If it were to happen, let's say, and it's an imponderable, but which spaces are best placed? Because, the last 5 years, quality stuck out like the best winner, return ratios were favorable, no gruesome businesses went up, no cyclical businesses went up. Will that change?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? So you're not in the favor of a camp which is betting on the cyclical recovery of the economy and buy it right now, because 6 months down the line, when it does recover, you won't get a chance to buy.
No, I'm in the camp that believes that there are some cyclicals, particularly in the infra space, that merit attention. And if you see that space, while the bigger companies have been terrible, some smaller companies have done very well, like Ahluwalia has done very well, NBCC has done very well, Kumar has done very well. So you have to be a little choosy when you're looking at even a bombed out sector, that there are rays of hope, and which is why consistently over the last 12 months or so I've bet on small caps and mid caps to give excess returns, because my view has been that large caps are more or less done. You're not going to see great upside in buying banks or buying FMCGs. I think there is more downside than there is upside in them. But I think small and mid caps, there's like a vast abundance of choice, and they are not really dependent on the economy per se. Because large caps need a big GDP tailwind to grow. But small caps can grow because they're in a certain segment, narrow part of the economy, one state, two states. If there can be an FMCG company selling hair oil, for instance. You're just selling the southern states. You don't need to have a big macro revival, for your numbers to go from 400 crore revenue to 1000 crore revenue. That's the kind of space that I'm interested in right now, not looking at a levers numbers to go 25%. That's not going to happen.
Okay, so road construction companies find favor because a lot of them are saying now the IRRs are much better. So therefore, and the road contracts are coming up thick and fast as well. Do you think that's a space?
That's a good space, and I think over time the quality of the tenders have improved, because the tenderers have realized that the old style of tendering, when it was very one-sided against the guy doing the tender, I mean the guy bidder, is not going to work. So now what I'm told is that the quality of tenders has improved. Okay. It's become more equitable, where the risks are relatively evenly shared between the guy giving the tender and the guy bidding for the tender. So I think that's a reasonable space.
Wow.
Sure.
It's good to hear this from you, because of the last 12 months, you've been slightly skeptical, if I may use that term, of what is it that the new government can do, if not what it is doing. I mean, because of various reasons that you may have, maybe because of the inability, because of the bureaucracy or otherwise. But you've not been completely gung-ho about the spate of reforms as well.
Look, I'm not a believer in all this high-sounding words of reforms and all that. I simply think that in order to grow, you need to invest. It's a very simple thing, boss. Either you have technology, in which case you can grow without investment. Right. Tech is about the only business where you don't need equal amount of investment to grow. Sure. Or if you don't have tech, then we need to have huge amounts of investment. And I don't see our companies having that capital, or for that matter, even the government having that much capital to release to fuel a big economic revival. Okay. Rest of the things like GST or land bill and all are all red herrings. I think there's enough land available. Okay? There's more than enough land available. I mean, the data is very, very clear. Sure. I think industry also knows that, but they don't want to invest, but they need the fig leaf of an excuse to tell the previous Prime Minister, Mr. Manmohan Singh, and the present Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, that look, boss, till you give us all this, we cannot invest. The fact is, even with all that there, they don't have the balance sheet to invest. Right. So land is available, and I think looking at the power situation, I think power is also available, because there's no demand for power right now. Yes. I talk to people in power and they tell me there's power which is available. That's why now you have deficits which have come down. They haven't come down because of increased generation. They come down because of lower demand. So that's telling you that actually the infrastructure bottlenecks, so-called power and availability of land actually a red herring. It is that we are using that as an excuse not to invest. And the reason why we're not investing is that there is not enough demand revival at the last mile. Right. So till you see cement demand revive, till you see steel demand revive, which company is going to put up capacities? Sure. That is the problem.
Yeah, sure. Was the pun intended? I speak to people in power. What's the pun? Just kidding. Maybe just the other one, and a gruesome sector. I mean, we will last 3-4 minutes on the show. A gruesome sector, which I hear a lot of your peers, people that you speak to over the last 15-20 years. I've seen you doing panels with them and all of that, or 10 years. Yeah, a lot of people are now turning bullish on real estate as a space, saying that the negatives are probably priced in because the stocks can't virtually go down to zero, so to say, and at some point of time things will revive. Is that a reasonable argument at all, or would you just shun the sector completely?
No, it could be, but frankly, I haven't taken a look at it. I mean, I would rather look at infrastructure, which is a more useful sector even from a national perspective, rather than look at real estate, which is not that big on priority. So I can't hazard a guess. There may be kernel of truth in what the consensus is building out to be. Okay. But I am not educated enough just yet.
You're being modest, but why don't you like banks? And my simple question again is this, that yes, there are problems. I mean, if you look at steel, etc., they are posing serious problems to even the private space. But if the economy has to grow at some point of time, banks will have to lend, they will have to contribute. Things could happen. I mean, are you strictly against banks right now?
No, I'm not against banks.
In terms of investing in banks.
I'm just saying that as of right now, the private sector seems to have dodged the credit bullet of the infra space. I doubt if they can dodge the credit bullet of the commodity space. Okay. You can't dodge all the bullets. I mean, you'll be lucky to dodge a few bouncers, but you will get hit. You're playing on the same pitch as the public sector banks are. I think that part of the worsening of the credit cycle is ahead of us, not behind us. So I am a little skeptical of the private sector's ability to dodge all bullets of bad credit and leave all the bullets for the government sector. I really doubt it.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.